Hey guys, it's Jeff from Press Your Luck, and it only took me 3 years to really listen to everybody and finally make a soup that has been asked of me over and over and over again, and I finally said, you know what, I went to the gym so much this week, it's worth it, and I'm going to reward myself and everyone else in the process by making the most amazing, the greatest, the most cheesy and grandest broccoli cheddar cheese soup you ever had. So guys, forget any other one you've ever had in your life. I guarantee you, this one is going to blow them all away right in the Instant Pot. Let's go. We're gonna begin with 1 red onion, and I suggest red for this, guys, and dice it up. And the reason why I want to use a red onion versus a yellow onion is really honestly just because it's pretty and the color, and it's going to get pulverized into the soup eventually, you'll see toward the end, but maybe I'm just brainwashing myself to think that. But in all honesty, you can totally use a yellow onion if you'd like, but if you see a red onion, use a red onion. A red bell pepper, dice it up. 2 medium-sized carrots, peeled and diced. And then from a stalk of celery, let's take 3 ribs. So it looks just like this, nice and diced. So now we're ready to get cooking. I'm going to take 1 whole stick of salted butter and add it to the pot. All right, now we're gonna come down to the Instant Pot and hit saute and adjust so we're on the more or the high setting. We just wanna give the oil some heat and give it about 3 minutes of heating up. And once my butter is melted and sizzling like that, I wanna add in my onions and peppers, my celery and carrots. And now this is one of my secret ingredients to making this soup. It's a totally optional step, you don't have to add it, but also 8 ounces of sliced baby bella mushrooms. Now I know mushrooms in a broccoli cheddar cheese soup, not common, but believe me, when everything's all finished at the final step, we're going to puree, and it's going to add such amazing rich flavor, especially once sauteed in the pot with all the other veggies. We don't even have broccoli in here yet. That's making a later appearance. It's kind of a diva. This is kind of the opening act, if you will. All right, so now stir everything up to make sure everything's coated in the butter, and we're gonna saute everything in the pot for about 7 minutes. So make sure we're stirring all the veggies, because there's a lot in there right now, and we want them all to get nice and heated through and get a bit softened and to start to release some amazing flavor. And it looks really beautiful. The colors are already gorgeous in this pot. It already looks like a work of art, and it's a really amazing blend of veggies. You have sweet in the carrots and the red peppers, and then you have more of like a savory in the onions and the celery and in the mushrooms as well. It's going to be a great combo. And after about 7 minutes of sauteing our veggies and stirring every so often during that time, it's going to look wonderful. You're going to see that a lot of it will have cooked down, things have softened a bit, and it's going to smell insane as well. So now what we want to do is we want to add in some flour. I want to add in a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. There we go. And then just quickly stir that around in the pot with all the veggies. Get them all nice and mixed so they're nice and coated. I really do like to use the adjective nice often in my recipes, obviously. Because, well, why be mean? Everything should be nice. Alright, it almost looks like a stuffing consistency. Now let's add in some broth. I want to add in 6 cups of a chicken broth, or you can use garlic broth or even a vegetable broth if you want to keep it vegetarian. And now I want to give everything a stir here before we pressure cook, making sure the bottom is nice and clear by scraping the bottom, making sure no flour is on it. There shouldn't be, it should be all good to go. And now guys, I need to add in my broccoli. Guys, you can use fresh broccoli if you want, you can use frozen. It's whatever you want, that's fine. If you're using frozen, it's going to be broccoli florets. And whatever you want to use, it's fine. Look, the ingredients in this, broccoli. Literally broccoli, that's it. And you want to use broccoli florets if possible. If you're using a whole stalk of fresh broccoli from the produce section, chop off that hard white portion. Just keep the greener part of the stalk that's closer to the head over here. This is 16 ounces, which is a pound worth, so we're going to add that to the pot. And there you go, right in there. And you can just leave it how it is. You don't have to give it a stir, really. And now we're going to secure our lid, make sure that we are in the sealing position. This is venting, we want it in sealing. Now we'll hit the cancel or the keep warm / cancel button depending on your model. And I want to now hit the pressure cook or manual button depending on your model. And I want to go in this, guys, for 5 minutes at high pressure, and that is it. And now while the base of our soup is pressure cooking, we want to focus on the rest of our broccoli. It's going to be more full-bodied broccoli. And I want to take another 16 to 32 ounces, that's 1 to 2 pounds. Frankly, I would suggest about 2 pounds. You're going to get more body in the soup of broccoli. And they can be frozen broccoli florets, or they can totally be raw broccoli you get in the produce section. And regardless of what you choose, it needs to be steamed to be softened. So let's take care of that right now. So now what I've done here is I've emptied my broccoli into a microwave-safe bowl. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water over it, and I'm going to cover with some plastic wrap, you know, like saran wrap or something like that. And now since this is frozen, I'm going to microwave it for 9 to 10 minutes, and if it's not frozen, if it's just fresh broccoli that you get from the produce section, go for 3 to 4 minutes in the microwave. But it's going to be the same way you set it up, 1/4 cup of water in a microwave-safe bowl with some plastic wrap over it. So now that the broccoli is microwaved, let's get the wrap off. And look at how lovely the broccoli is. I'm just going to leave it here for the time being, just let it hang out, because we're going to add it at the very, very, very end after we've pureed everything inside the pot, because we want to have some substantial broccoli as well as some that's already pureed in there with the rest of the vegetables. And also, if you want to even double the broccoli, by all means, add 2 pounds at the very, very end if you want. It depends on how much broccoli you really want in that soup. See all the water though in there? Make sure we just drain that before we add all this broccoli. And now that we're done, we're going to finish with a quick release. And the pin has landed. Let's now take our lid off. And there is our soup so far. Now, I know what you're thinking. That looks nothing like a broccoli cheddar cheese soup. Of course it doesn't. We haven't added the cheese yet, nor have we blended everything up. But the first thing I want to do is I want to just take like a stirring spoon or a spatula and stir everything around. And you're going to see, guys, already from the flour, the broth is lovely and thick. Okay, now let's transform this into the most amazing broccoli cheddar cheese soup ever. I want to add in 1 cup of heavy cream or half and half. Don't go anything less than half and half. You want it to be like a nice thickness to it. And some seasonings here. I'm adding in 1 whole tablespoon of dried thyme. Believe me, it's totally, totally awesome with this recipe. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon each of seasoned salt and Tony Chachere's, which I love, Creole seasoning. Or you can use a Cajun seasoning or a Louisiana seasoning, or if you'd rather not use that at all, just use 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, or use 2 teaspoons of Tony's, or use 1 of each, like I'm doing here. It's totally up to you with that portion of it. Just add it in and give it a stir. Oh yeah, look at that. Creaminess is happening now, just how we like it. And now it is time to add in our cheese. We want to add in 4 cups, guys, or 16 ounces of cheddar cheese, and I'm just gonna add it. It's nice and shredded. You can use a fancy one if you want. You know, cheddar is a key ingredient in the soup, of course, so if you want to spend a little extra and shred your own, by all means do it. About a 3-year-plus aged cheddar is great. Or you can just use the bagged cheap stuff, whatever. So just whisk in the cheese in batches, okay? Make sure it gets nice and melded inside of our soup here. There we go. And I'm gonna use a whisk, because a whisk is important here. All right. It's becoming really beautiful here. And you really wanna just whisk it for about a minute after we've added all of our cheese in there. Okay, and now that we're nice and whisked, we get to use a really fun kitchen tool, guys. The immersion blender. Look at this thing. It's like basically a blender that you put right in a pot, as opposed to having to transfer the entire soup in batches to a blender, and it gets messy, and it's just ridiculous. Sometimes it can overflow. Who wants to deal with that? You can do it right in the pot. This is one of the greatest things in the world to have, an immersion blender. They're totally affordable, and if you love making soups, no kitchen should be without one. Look at this. I'm gonna simply, well, immerse it inside of my pot, and then turn it on and blend. Okay, and we are looking perfect here. All right, final steps. Now, if you want to take the soup a step further, you know me very well by now. If you've been watching my videos, you might want to add in a little package of boursin, one of these 5.2 ounce packages, or any spreadable herb cheese if you can get it in the market. It's usually in like the fancy cheese / charcuterie section, or wholesale clubs like Costco sell them in packs of 3 for a great price. It's optional, you don't have to add it, but I'm totally gonna add it. And I've just chopped it up, and I'm just gonna add it into the pot. I'll give it a little stir in there. I don't have to whisk it, there's no point in whisking it really. And then I'll take my immersion blender and put it in for another go. Alright, nice and pureed and blended into that soup. Oh man, this is looking so incredibly rich and unbelievable so far. And we're basically done, guys. Just 2 more things. I want to add in 1 tablespoon of a Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire, I can't ever pronounce, I think Worcester sauce. I'm just gonna say that moving forward. As well as my microwaved broccoli florets, that they're nice and soft now. Now this is gonna give some nice body to the soup in terms of broccoli. That's why we put half in before we pressure cooked and then half in afterwards. Again, if you want to have more broccoli, by all means, you can add more. You can add double the amount. And you know what? I'm going to add in another 16 ounces of broccoli just because why not? I have it and I feel like it's actually the right amount to put in. And now you'll see, guys, it's the perfect amount of broccoli and the most amazing, rich, lush soup. Look at this. Look at how creamy this soup is, and the consistency couldn't be more perfect. Not too thick, not too thin, just Goldilocks right, and just full of broccoli. All right, guys, let's ladle this into some bowls and serve it up. All right, there we go. Whoops, a little sloppy, Jeffrey, a little sloppy. So much broccoli. So much cheese. Look at how beautiful this soup is, guys. And if you wish to, for a finishing touch, feel free to top it off with some croutons, especially the nice pumpernickel ones. Love those. There we go. Now let's get a spoon in there and try some of this amazingness out. Oh man, just look at all of this stuff going on in here. I gotta try this out. Okay, folks, here we go. Look at all this. Look at all of it. Just forget ever going out and ordering this from any place ever again. And that includes like an amazing soup slash salad bar buffet that I happen to love. It's based like in California and Florida mostly. As well as some bread place that serves a lot of these soups, especially this very popular one there. The croutons in there are also nice. Guys, this soup has everything going on in it. It's literally packed to the brim with flavor, and it's mostly thanks due in part to that amazing vegetable medley we started with. The mushrooms, you would never know there were mushrooms in here looking at this soup at all, but they add such wonderful flavor to it. If you hate mushrooms, just leave them out. It's not a big deal. But don't leave out those carrots, red peppers, onions, and celery. Do not do that for sure. And of course, don't leave out the broccoli. But look at the broccoli. Look at how perfect size, little bite-sized pieces of broccoli. Like butter, it melts in your mouth. I can only imagine when I smile now what my teeth must look like. They're probably like loaded with little broccoli specks. This is a star soup, to say the least. The cheese in the soup, the balance, it's just perfect. I mean, it's a mathematical equation I can easily solve and tell you cheese plus cream plus broth equals perfection. It's never gonna fail. Anytime. Ever. Literally the greatest, hands down, broccoli cheddar cheese soup I've ever had. And I'm not just saying this for marketing purposes. It really is, guys. Just try it for yourself and you will see. Guys, if you enjoy these recipes, check out pressureluckcooking.com because I have a ton of recipes there with more recipes just coming every single week. Check out facebook.com/pressureluckcooking and like that page for any time a new recipe comes out. When something amazing is happening, you'll know about it on my page, like my cookbook coming out. Order it! If you haven't ordered it yet, what are you doing? Order it. It comes out in April of 2020. So if you're watching this now, it comes out in just a few months. And if you're watching this after it came out, well, what are you waiting for? Get it! It's an amazing cookbook with step-by-step photos of every recipe. And of course, at Pressure Luck on YouTube, subscribe there, hit that button, and hit the bell so you get notified anytime one of those new videos come up, and I can keep you company in the kitchen or in your drive home, or you know, you can just hate watch me. And of course, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you again so much, guys. And I'll tell you something, I would gladly sit with you any day outside on the stoop and have a delicious, heartwarming bowl of this broccoli cheddar cheese soup. Okay, my poetry might suck, but the soup don't. Enjoy.